I'm running a little late this morning. I was off doing another project. It just took me a little bit longer than I'd planned. So I'm getting everything set up. You see all the saws here and everything, and that thing behind my head. It's just a little bit of me. But anyways, I'm going to go inside. I'm going to keep talking to you guys because I got a new mic system, and hopefully it works really good. You guys can hear me clearly as I walk around now. It's mainly set up. It's a Bear Vlog mic. So what I'm going to do is I pretty much got everything set up here, and you can see what the topic's going to be today. All about chainsaws. And then the orange one represents the mystery saw, which I won't get until Wednesday. And I'm going to do some video in from when I get it till next Monday's live, and then we'll talk about it. It's not going to be what you think it is. I searched high and low to decide what type of new bigger saw. I didn't want to have to go all the way as high as a pro saw as far as another chainsaw, but I wanted one with a 3/8 bar, and I wanted to do 24, 25 inch material. So I'll go into that in a bit. So if you're joining, I'm sorry, I'm running a little late this morning with the podcast, but while we let other people join the room, I'm going to go make me a coffee. It's one of these kind of cloudy days, and I'll talk to you while I'm inside making the coffee. And, you know, the new mic, I want to test it out, and I need a coffee. Hey, greeting, two brothers. Hey, brother, I think you'll like this topic, and I bet you already know what the mystery saw is going to be, but I'm not going to reveal that today. But I do want to talk about saws, you know, in general, and how I feel about them and certain aspects about the saws. So I'm going to go take probably 2 or 3 minutes, go make me a coffee. You guys go do the same, go get your popcorn or whatever, or just come back. Running late, but I like to do these every Monday. So I'll see you in about 5 minutes. So I'm just going to leave it running, and I'll be back in 5 minutes. And I'll keep talking to you, and we'll see how good the mic works. The mic's supposed to be good for 75 feet, and we'll find out. Somebody's in here cooking. Hey, Sean. Oh, I need to borrow some power here, buddy. I'm live. Can I cut that temporarily so I can make coffee? It's too much for all that. We'll see how long it takes this coffee to brew up. You got a weapon? Yeah. My son, he's learned, and so is my daughter, to meal prep thing so they can have healthier, nicer meals while not spending, you know, a ton of money going out eating out every day. So I say good for them, proud of them. And my son is one heck of a cook here. He knows how to cook, that's for sure. His curry sometimes can be temperamental and not, it's getting older. It takes a little bit longer to get going. So, but yeah, the topic today is going to be chainsaws. And I'm sure a lot of you have a lot to say one way or another on that. As you can see, I have steels, and I do like the steels a lot. And I'll go over some of the aspects about the steels that I like versus Husqvarna and some other brands. Being as I used to have a landscape company, and we used to clear a lot of trees and do a lot of lots, and we used to build pole barns and stuff like that. So we had mortise setups on the chainsaws as well. So I've done a little bit of everything with a chainsaw, so I can give you a lot of perspective on that. And like most of you know, any pieces of equipment that fail or don't get the job done or can be a safety concern as well, not just doing the job, but doing it in a manner where it fails and can cause injury or put you in a position of where you can get hurt. So many of you also saw my new helmet sitting up there made by Lyft. Thank you, Two Brothers Outdoors. They gave me the idea and gave me the link to go look up the helmets. And I've been wearing that off and on. Didn't do any tree work this weekend, but I did last week, and I really enjoyed it. Very comfortable. The one I got is a fiberglass, so it's just not metal. And it's really lightweight. Cost a little bit more. I'd say it's a mid-range helmet. It cost me about $90 plus shipping. And they do have other ones that I looked on there that are a little fancier. They got some with skulls and some with some other artwork. And they can run you like, say 140 on up, a little more graphics. You get a little better, if looks matters, you know what I'm saying? So I got my coffee. I'm coming up to you guys. So, all right. I can feel human again. I got a coffee. So, what I did mean to do, since I'm down at the house, let's see how many of you guys hanging out. Hey, guys. Good Monday morning to you. I'm going to try to, I meant to bring my laptop out so that I can see the comments, So, ain't cutting in, brother. Mike, your mic ain't cutting in. Let me check to see if it cut off. Let me check. No, you guys, can you hear me now? Leave a comment, because I walked over to the shed. I did a pre-video, and the mic was working then. God, I hope it's working. Can you hear me? Just let me know. Is it working? Here. The green light's on. It's telling me it's working. But you know how that is. You test it and everything's working great, and then when you go to actually use it, it's not working great. So let me look here. Can you hear this? Here, I'll take it out. Let me know if you can't hear my mic or not. I'm gonna plug it back in. When I did a video and tested it, I walked over to the building and stuff, and it worked when I looked at it. Hopefully, when I go live, it hasn't just failed me. I have no way of knowing whether it's working. So, is it working? No mic. So, just let me know if it's working. I'm going to go grab my laptop. And if I put my laptop on, I'll hear myself or I won't hear myself. So, just 1 second. All right. Let me grab the laptop here. And see, this is the best way to find out. Sorry about that, guys, if you can hear me. Sometimes when you first start doing stuff, you have all good intentions, and sometimes it doesn't work out. until you figure it out. So sometimes the learning curve is what we got to do. Whoa, I got all my SD clips cards on it here. Get those off of here. All right, let me go onto my channel and we'll find out whether it is working or not. It should work out here. We got the new high-speed internet. Supposed to be good for up to 3,600 square feet. I'm not that far from the unit. I mean, my house is literally right there. It's been slow for a couple of days. I don't know if they have tree damage or not. We had storms, but it was supposed to all be buried, so we didn't have this problem. And of course, it's even run aerial right by us, so that tells me they didn't do what they said they'd do. They didn't make it as good as they said they were going to make it. All right, I think we got it somewhere. Sorry, but I really got a lot to discuss here, and I wanted to go over it with you. Connect to the internet. All right, well, I'm trying to connect to the internet. All points broadband. I am connected. Says I got great service. Could be one of the little bugs in my computer. You gotta be careful what sites you go on these days. No, we're not doing any changes to my device today. Sorry, it's Monday morning, and apparently Monday morning affects computers as well. We're all a little grumpy and all a little slow to get started. Let's see. Oh, there I am. Oh, there I am. All right, volume's working. Oh, there I am. All right, volume's working. Oh, there I am. It's funny because everything lags way behind what you're talking about. Lags way behind what you're talking about. And look at that. You give me 1 second and I can lose my coffee. Where did I put my freaking coffee? I swear. I lose my coffee. I lose my brain if it wasn't hooked to me. So anyways, the topic for today is going to be the chainsaws. I'm going to have to turn that volume off. I have one good old saw that I think a lot of you guys will appreciate. And this is going to go back to a conversation that I had and I was following a tree, a maple tree, and I broke the handle. And I said, they don't build them like they used to. And a lot of you guys gave me a ton of slack over it. I abused it. They didn't make them like that. It was just error. Well, I don't know if any of you guys recognize this old saw right here. But this is the steel 280, what they used to call the Farm Boss. So this was the original Farm Boss. And I'll tell you, it's hard to get parts for it. But see, it has an all-metal handle. Okay, and then it has a plastic piece over top of it. And that's how they used to build all saws. They didn't have plastic handles. You know, still has a chain brake and all that. This one still runs pretty good. Even as old as this saw is, it starts better than these new ones. So that thing, I think that's got more power than the 029. The 029 was the new Farm Boss. Not much difference, 028, 029. And this has the old screw-in type oil and gas covers. Now, This is the MS-250, and it's dirty, and I know that. But this little saw right here has got a 16-inch bar on it. I have another one with a 18-inch bar on it, you know, just so I don't want it to bend over. It's good for doing limbs and stuff. But it's a powerful little saw. When we did Katrina, I bought like 10 of these down there for the guys to use to clean up. And they're rugged saws, and really for the size, they got a lot of power. Now, the new caps. That's one of my big pet peeves with a lot of other brands. I like these caps because they're quick and easy. You don't have to have a scratch with you. Whereas like Husqvarna and those, a lot of times you can't get your hands, you know, if they're tight, you can't get your hands on them to loosen them out. So if you don't have a scratch with you, you can't get them open. So that's probably my two biggest things. The mystery saw is going to surprise you. It's not my go-to saw. I struggled with it, trying to decide what size to get as far as the saw goes. And I had a steel 391, and it had 3/8 chain. So it was the next step up, but it wasn't a pro. It was still a $700-800 saw. Had a 20-inch bar. That was the max it would do, is 20-inch. And pretty impressed with it. You know, most of our poplar trees here are anywhere from 2 foot to 28 max. You know, pretty good sized poplar tree. So like that one right there. This poplar tree right there. There's 3 of them. See that bigger one? That's kind of like the largest poplar you'll find. You know what I'm saying? On the property. Some are a little bigger, but we did a select cut and got rid of a lot of the bigger stuff like that. Made room for new growth of other trees. So I wanted something that would compare to the steel MS 391. Doesn't need to be a pro saw. I'm not doing this every single day cutting trees down. But I do it enough that I wanted a decent saw that's not falling apart on me. If any of you watch the channel for any extended amount of time, or if you go back, you'll see there was I think this is massive cherry tree blows over in a storm or something like that. And it was about as big around as that poplar tree. The top had broke out of it, pretty good sized section. So I decided to cut the base of it down because it wasn't going to live. And as I was cutting it, you can see me, I was getting on. I wasn't being hard on the saw. It was a nice, easy cut for the saw. And the plug blew clean out of the saw. So when I took it back to steel and talked to them about, you know, what the heck happened, you know, what caused it, because we had it serviced once since we got it new. They're the only ones that touched it, and they're a steel service center. And I've used them for 40 years. I know darn well they didn't do anything wrong to it, and they know what they're doing. Plus, I used it for almost 3/4 of a year before I had any problem with it. So it was very odd to have a spark plug just blow out the head. So a lot of people said you could put a Healy coil in it, and there wasn't enough meat in the head to do it. So anyways, I get with steel, and steel says they're not going to cover it. There's nothing wrong with it. They blame it on the clouds and everything else. Somebody had to messed it up. Nobody touched it. So I looked at getting it rebuilt. So it was a new head, piston, rod, connector, and all that. And all that would have cost $600 and some. Well, I could buy a brand new saw for $780 some. I said, well, that doesn't make any sense. So I was so upset about the whole thing. I just told them to keep the saw and they could use it for parts, you know, the bar and stuff like that, because they went through all the services, find out, you know, trying to fix it. So that's the size that I'm replacing. So that's a 60, I think that was 65 cc, 63 cc, somewhere around there. So that's what I'm trying to replace. So that's what the mystery saw is going to replace. The mystery saw, let's see if I give you the right cc, 66 or 63.1. So if you look that up, you'll see what kind of saw that is, because it's not a steel. It's not a steel, I'll tell you that. I hope I don't regret it. But a lot of you, Buck and Billy Ray, and a lot of you other timber guys have been very happy with the other brand that I got. I haven't been that happy with them. I've had smaller saws, carbs go bad. They just, after a year, you know, they're more of a homeowner grade, but the upper level of these saws are supposed to be pretty good. The saw is supposed to bridge the gap between homeowner use and, you know, professional use. So it doesn't have a metal cover, you know, where you tighten the chain up and over the bar, you know, no metal cover over that. But I don't know if it's necessary. I'm not out here dropping trees on it, and you know, you know, I'd be pretty abusive if I did that, and I don't think even a metal cover can break. So, oh, let me show you this helmet while I forget. This, Two Brothers Outdoors. Now, they got different ones. I think one of theirs is red and one of theirs is blue. And they said they put dents in it. Well, this is a fiberglass one, so I like the color. I like how fancy it was. It was a little bit more money probably than what maybe they had paid for theirs. The brand is Lift. Let me get that right in the screen. Is Lift. Very comfortable. The adjustments tighten up really good on your head. You just pull it down the back, you know, snug it up. And I wore it the other day, and I was on the tractor and stuff, and I just left it on, you know, just to kind of see how comfortable it was or uncomfortable it was if you wear it all day. And you really, honestly, you really can't tell it's there. Keeps the sun out of your head. I guess you never know what's going to fall from the sky. You know, just walking. You don't got to be cutting trees. You can be walking around the woods and a branch could fall, you know. So, not that I'm going to wear the helmet all the time when I'm out walking in the woods, but probably not a bad idea. So anyways, I really, really like it. So thank you, Two Brothers, for letting me know about this company and inspiring me to get one, because it's really a serious thing. So basically what I have here as far as saws go, and you can tell, I got all steel sitting up there. I'm going to find a place for this to set without falling over. What I got here is we got our nice, and I should have brought the 410 down. I got a 410. It doesn't run. We got the 280 Farm Boss by Steel. So that's a metal handle, screw-in caps for your oil and your gas. We got the 250 MS, great for lemon trees, and I mean it has an 18-inch bar on it. It'll actually cut. I mean it'll cut a pretty good sized tree, but I like it small and light. And if you're probably the average homeowner who has branches clean up after storms and stuff like that, this little saw do a lot. Then I've got the, this is a 291, but anyways, the next size up is 271. We got two of those. Really happy with those. Really happy. I mean, I've cut down 20-inch trees, 22, 24-inch trees with it. As long as the chain is sharp and you're not in a position where you have to be in a big hurry, the saw will do the job. And that has a 20-inch bar on it. The other one I have has an 18-inch bar because I wanted to keep the power up and I didn't want as big a bar. Then we go up to the 290. This is what you guys see me use most of the time. Pretty powerful saw, but it doesn't really, I'm working it pretty hard when I'm cutting down some of these big trees. And what I've run into when I'm doing these big trees, you know, putting the notch in it, you can take your time. You can put the notch, you clean it out. You want to make sure you got the notch in there. There's no little pieces in there that are going to get hung up when it falls over. So that's not a big deal, you know. When it comes to the point of you doing your final cut, okay, or even a plunge cut. If I have trees that are leaning, I use a plunge cut. So I'll go in there. I have my, you know, you have your notch like this, okay, and there's a cross view of it. I come in about 1.5 inches or 2 inches, depending on the size of the tree, and I do a plunge cut straight through the tree. Now, obviously, that's only a 20-inch bar, so if the tree's wider than 20 inches, unless you can magically figure out how to line yourself up, which I've had to try to do, cutting through that tree like that allows you to have your V like this, and you start cutting. You have your hinge already in place, and you start cutting back. Then you stop when you have enough meat in the back, and what that allows you to do is come in really pretty quickly, cut that away, and the tree will fall. And if you have a tree that's leaning a lot already, what happens is if you don't do it that way and you start cutting into the tree, you'll end up splitting the tree. You'll end up just splitting the tree, or if the tree is hollow. I do plunge cuts a lot of times if a tree is hollow, and of course then that's not as hard because it's hollow, so you can just go around the other side and cut back. That way, because a lot of times when the tree is hollow, you might only have, you know, that much, you know, on each side of the tree, and the tree's hollow in the middle. So if you do the plunge cut and you leave a little bit of meat back here, when you get in to cut it, you can go pretty quick and you can get out of the way. And it won't split the tree. It won't barber on you that way. So it's very important to have a saw that when you're cutting, like I said, when you're cutting a big tree like that poplar right there, that's probably close to a 30-inch tree. When you're cutting in on the back side, you can't have a saw as while you're digging in and cutting. It's like, and it won't cut. And you're trying to, and the tree's starting to fall, and you're trying to cut the daggone thing, and you're trying to stay there as long as you can. And there's nothing worse than you're cutting like an oak or something heavy with your saw, and the saw is fighting you. It doesn't have enough power to cut into it, and the tree's starting to fall, and you can start hearing the tree popping and start cracking, and you're giving the saw everything it's got, and you can only stay there for so long. Then you end up with where you might have a barber effect where the tree splits, and then you're in danger. So when I say having an underpowered saw is dangerous, that's what I'm talking about. Having a saw that is not adequate, have enough power adequately to cut the tree that you're cutting. Yes, you can take a lot of these saws and cut a lot bigger tree than they recommend for it, but you put yourself at a lot of risk that way doing that. So that's why I want to go ahead and go up to the next size bigger. I didn't want to spend $1,000 for a saw that I may use a dozen times, maybe a dozen times a year, cutting some of the bigger trees down. So, and this year we're going to do a little bit of select cut. So I'm going to be in the woods ahead of the loggers, taking out trees that they don't want, that we want to get rid of, like maples and some bigger stuff. So I want a little bigger saw so I get in and do that, get it out of there, and let them come in and do the logging. So I hope that thing's not echoing. I got to go turn the volume down because I can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's nice to have this here. Oh, let me take a second here to say hi to everybody. To have this here. Let me take a second here to say hi to everybody. I got to turn the voices. All right, that's better. Well, that was messed up sitting there listening to yourself delayed. But anyways, let me see who's in the house. Hey, two brothers. I guess thanks for coming and hanging out with me. I was just way behind today. It broke up when you were in the house. Yeah, I mean, you're going through multiple walls, so good test. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate that. I know what it is. I know you know what it is because I asked you enough questions about yours that you know. Customer to stop by. I gotta go. All right. Good luck with your customers. It was a busy weekend for me with customers as well. What I'm set up on right now is this giant pile of hickory, mocker nut hickory pile, and I got some more over there. I sold about a quarter of it this weekend, so that was nice. Get a little money back for all the gas and stuff I put into it. So I'm going to try to do Mondays mornings consistently with the live, but I don't want to just do it just to do it. So this is kind of comprehensive because I got all the saws here, and you know, it's pretty what I consider a pretty quality video because I'm giving you some information. But if I don't really have a lot to go, get into, that I'm not going to do it. I don't know if it's timing out on here or there or both, but I'm going to go grab, since we're talking about the hickory here, it is a project, and I want you guys, now some of you guys will probably tune in later, and maybe not right now, and that's fine because a lot of you guys are working, and you're not allowed to play on your phone while you're working. I get it. Or you're not supposed to get caught playing on or playing on your watching videos while you're working. Let's put it that way. I got a little project that I got having the booth over there at the antique place, and since I don't really sell antiques, I create all my own stuff and lumber and stuff like that. One of the things I love, two things I love the most, is brass. I love interacting brass with woodwork. The other thing is having black or wrought iron. So I got 4 wrought iron chairs, but the bottoms are gone. Now what I want you guys to do, and I have a couple ideas in my head. Let me go grab one. I'm going to grab both of them actually. I thought I like to think out of the box. You know what I'm saying? I like to do stuff that's different than you would just see, and I think people appreciate that. I just kind of want to set them up, kind of what I'm thinking there is, and I'm gonna have to lean you guys down. It looks like. Sorry, you'll lose part of my head, but you'll see the chairs. Now I got these 2 chairs here, and I got 4 of them. So my idea is to repaint them, of course, and put a solid board across kind of making 2 into a bench, or possibly making, some kind of wood insert into it. And one person, let me turn you guys back up. One person has suggested taking those and making a board to fit on it and cutting it out for a plant. So it's a chair potter chair. I don't know. I was like, oh, that's kind of neat, but I said, I don't know if people would think, oh, that's a waste of a good chair to put a pot in the middle of it. I don't know if they'd want that around their place. I don't know. You guys got to let me know. But I got 4 of these little cast iron chairs, and my thought at first was to put a bench all the way across the 2 of them, and kind of turn it into a bench. It'll have 8 legs, but who cares? So that's a little project. If you want to give me your 2 cents on that, those 2 little chairs, what I could make out of them. I don't want to reupholster them and all that stuff. I like the black combination with the wood. So the saws you guys saw earlier, I do have a mystery saw I'm getting, and I know some of the guys that follow the channel pretty much know what it is. It's supposed to be in on Wednesday. They say Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes. It's 3/8 chain, 24 or 25 inch bar. I think it's 24. And in all honesty, I'm going against my own personal judgment as far as the brand. But I want to be fair on this channel. I want to give the other brand a chance. And we'll go out and use that saw. You'll get to see me use it. The MS290 or the 391 is very equivalent to it. But like I say, our other ones blew up. So, and it was 2 years old. So, but a lot of other loggers on here, Buck and Billy Ray and a bunch of other ones, run those saws and they love them. So, hey, you know, they do it every day. Now, they have the Pro Grade. They have the next one up as far as model goes. But I think the quality is probably still there. Just doesn't have a few of the, like the dogs aren't as deep. Doesn't have a metal cover with the nuts that will kind of stay with it. You know, so if you're out in the field, you take the cover off, you don't lose the nuts to tighten the cover back up. Stuff like that, you know, with your Pro Grades. Probably a little better tuning kit. The one I'm getting does have the auto tune for like if you're in the mountains or if you're up north, you know, you don't, or cold weather versus warm weather. Probably won't be a thing here or any big deal. So I definitely love my old farm boss. Actually that's the 028 when they had the O in front, like the 029 before they went to the MS. So yeah, I'm excited. I got a couple other little small tools that will help me along the way. But we'll take them out. I got to, on this little shack here, a lot of people keep asking me, is that like a little apartment? That is not a little apartment. That's a shed. There is an upstairs in it, but it's a weight room and a catch everything room up top right now. And right now I can't even get up the stairs because I got so much wood in there. You know, I'm trying to make this little building into a shop, but it was just supposed to be storage, and I did my gun stuff in there. I used to like redoing, you know, stuff with wood and all that and rebluing and all. But now with all the new laws and the restrictions, can't do anything anymore, can't enjoy it. So, so now it's become the wood shop, and it is quickly run out of room. So I've got to put an addition on the back, and we'll be going and getting trees for that. I got some of the rafters cut up, some of the material. I got to make the siding. I got to make some 6x6s posts and all that stuff. So we'll be going down and cutting a few bigger trees down here shortly, and we'll get a chance to put that to the test. A friend of mine who has a farm had a massive white oak fall over, and he's got a walnut tree, and we're trying to see if we can come together on that. I mainly want the walnut, but he said the tree in the field, now this is probably the stump holding it up. He said the tree is at this level right here, you know, when he stands next to it. And I'm sure the stump is probably holding it up 1.5 feet. So that's a pretty doggone good sized tree. So we will have to take that mystery saw over there and give it a good workout and see what it'll do, because I did cut up with that 0290 was that big black oak, and that was 32 inches on the small side, and on the large side it was like 48. It was so big that when I cut the stump off of it, I had to come in from each side and take the tractor and break the last little part off, and then I had to cut that little part off. So I could do that with that saw. Then that other saw ought to be able to do that big white oak. So yeah, I'm excited about that. So I hope you appreciate the lineup here of the saws. I'm a steel fan. It's obvious. I have all steels. I did buy, on a quick note, and I don't remember the model, but I bought a whole bunch of Huskies. We had a project we were doing, and we were clearing up trails and stuff. So I went out and bought a whole bunch of, I think I paid like $150 a piece for them or something like that. They had little 16-inch bars on them. And the guys ran them, and we ran them, and we ran them for about a year doing these projects on a farm. And our public, we have an old railroad truss. And the county owns it, and then we cleared it. It's trails for everybody that lives here. So we took all that stuff over there and did all that work with it. And I had a lot of carburetor problems and stuff like that. And it's, well, you know, what you hear with Husky, you know. And look, you're not paying that much for them. So, you know, I guess to be honest, you can't expect, you know, a lot out of something you pay a little bit for, you know. But they kind of gave me a fit, and I got frustrated. Then when you know, the problem was when you go to get the parts, if the parts cost almost as much as a saw, why just give a saw to somebody who doesn't have, you know, money, can be blessed with a saw and knows how to fix stuff, just go buy a new one. I mean, at that point, you know what I'm saying? I hate to do it that way. I hate that we're a throwaway society, but man, we just, you know. So if you got any questions about any of this, now I do run, for warranty purposes, I do run the synthetic oil. So this is a synthetic bar and chain. I do have the oil for the gas. I just didn't have any more, and it's the ones that I have are up at the other shop. So yeah, but they extend your warranty. They say if you use the synthetic 2-stroke and you use the bar, they'll extend it for 2 years. I think Husky may do that on some of their stuff, different models or whatever. So, hey, ain't nothing wrong with spend a little money, get a little better quality oil. Your equipment runs better and longer. So, I'm going to have an oddball in the group here soon. And then after we run that one for a while, I want to get a battery operated one in that same brand. I haven't shared, we do have a nice DeWalt battery operated. It's got an 18-inch bar on it. It's a DeWalt, you know, battery operated chainsaw. And I'm going to do a comparison on those as well, because I think DeWalt's got a beat as far as batteries go, but I don't know as far as power goes in the saw and how long it'll last comparing the two. We were looking at the steel battery operated chainsaws, and they have like little 16 and 12-inch bars, and the saws are 3 times as much as ones you could get that had, you know, batteries that were stronger and last longer and had bigger bars. So I just, you know, couldn't justify paying that for them. But but anyways, I hope you guys have a good Monday. I can't think of really anything else to say other than, you know, I love steel. I'm going to get an oddball to the bunch. I'm going to have an oddball in the family. And for my sake, I hope it turns out to be a really good saw. I want them to prove me wrong, you know, and we'll find out. We sure will. I've got a lot of trees down, or, you know, logs and stuff down that I need to cut up for this little project we're going to do. So we're going to go out there and maybe do a little time trials. You know, we'll see how well. Hopefully that one comes, it says auto tune, so hopefully I don't have to send it off to be tuned or take it in. It should, after running it a little bit, it should, you know, do its thing, you know. But yep. And for those that said they didn't have metal handles on the smaller saws, and when I was getting upset about steel switching over from even their smaller saws, this is an 028 aluminum handle with a rubber cover. They switched, I don't remember when, but to all this plastic handles, and I don't like them. I've had them break on a lot of these saws, so I wish they just stayed with the metal aluminum handles, because I mean, that's all original. That saw, other than the muffler, we put a couple of mufflers on it, is all original. Still start up on the second try and gets the job done. And that's running a 20-inch bar without any problem. So When I said they don't make them like they used to, there you go. And if I brought the 410 down, it's the same thing. Metal handle, you know, with a little bit of rubber wrapped around it. So, yeah, what a shame. But when I get that saw and get going with it, there's more mods available for that saw as far as the handle, upgrades for the handle, and the dogs. I can get bigger dogs for it. There's a muffler kit you can get for it, ported muffler kit. So over time, I'll be doing that with that saw, upgrading it. And then, depending on how well it does, I may go up to the Pro Series a little bit bigger than that. I can't see 99% of the time, if 99.9% of the time, I'd ever need a 36-inch bar. But who wouldn't like to have one? I mean, you know, have a big saw, you know. Who wouldn't want a big saw with a big 30-inch chain on it? Because, you know, you cut and stump sometimes, you know, you want to get it one cut all the way through the stump to keep it nice and flat, you know, against the ground. So it has its advantages, but that's a big saw to wield, though. I guess you could go get a Farm Boss or one of them things off of Amazon with a 36-inch bar and cut a few stumps every once in a while with them. I don't know. Who knows if those will last, but anyways, we are almost to 10,000 subscribers. You know, when I started this channel, I do this stuff every day, and I have a mill. And what I figured was, let's just bring some people along. I can share with them on cutting trees down, being safe in the woods, how to run the mill. I mean, by my perspective now, everybody has their own way of doing things. But I've been doing it for a long time. And some things I've been doing for a long time wrong. I mean, you know, life is a lesson. And you keep learning every single day. And I look forward to learning something new tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. And I hope you guys do too. So I didn't really think that my silly stuff that I did, and, you know, it gets kind of monotonous watching people cut logs on a sawmill. It's hard to be creative. I mean, cut a log is the same as the next log and the next log and the next log, you know. So it's interesting just trying to change stuff up, you know, getting in the woods, and just trying to keep it creative. It's a tough thing to do, you know, because how many ways can you cut a log? You know, how many ways can you cut a tree down? You know, how many ways can you push a tree over with a tractor? I mean, you know, it's only so many ways you can do it. So as a creator, it's a struggle to try to come up with something different or a little different or more exciting every time. So I like the challenge, and I want to say thank you to all of you that have subscribed to the channel, because you've inspired me to be and do and continue to do it. So we're at like 9,261 subscribers. You know, I figured I'd be excited if, you know, if I had 5,000, that'd be like, whoa, oh my God, that'd be huge. That'd be like life achievement. So it's really nice having that many of you from all over the world join in with my crazy little life. I am going to do a series, and it takes me a little bit now. I'm not a genius by any means, and my memory is half-baked at best at times. But I do want to start going through tree identification some and helping to learn types of trees, because I see this, like, especially on Facebook, on a lot of the other channels, like you know, Twitter, the sawmill groups on Facebook, Reddit, and I always see people putting stuff on there. What kind of tree is this? You know, they got a mill, they cut it down, they milled it up, and they don't even know what kind of tree they got. you know. So I figured, well, let's take this opportunity while we're cutting stuff down. I'll point out a couple trees that may be in the area, show the leaves, show how you can identify them. You know, we're getting into well, it's not, I guess it's still summer. It's June, or well, actually it's July now. So I guess it is summer. So some of the trees are going to start showing their flowers have bloomed, and they got their nuts are starting to be produced and stuff like that. So that obviously would be an easier way to help identify some trees, because like the walnut tree, the hickory trees, I mean, there's like literally 12 different species hickory tree. Now they're not all like right here, but there's a good amount of them. So when you go up to a tree, you know, or a white oak, there's like 15 varieties of white oaks. You know, so how on earth do you figure out what particular subspecies is that tree? Because like with hickory, you know, bitternut hickory lumber's quite a bit different than mockernut hickory, you know, or shagbark hickory is a little light. You know, I mean, they're all similar, but there's differences in the characteristics of how it grows. It's not patterned, the heartwood color. So if you're out searching for a tree and you say, oh, I'm just going to cut it down, I know it's some hickory and whatever. But if you want to be specific and you want to choose and go through your property and choose to cut certain ones down in certain areas to allow others to grow, it's good to kind of know, you know, what you're cutting down, you know. And here's what I find, this is what I hate. I really hate it, but I understand it, is like we have a crew right up probably 5 miles from here, the same crew that was on the property behind us. It was the logging crew. So they're in there logging, and I'm sure they're logging for like poplar, veneer wood. You know, they're taking that out of it, but they're pretty much stripping the land. I mean, they're cutting everything. So they'll have, so you know, when they're cutting everything, they're taking maple trees, they're taking hickory trees, they're taking, you know, if there's any walnuts in there. And I God hope that they know the difference, and they don't just put all the oaks on a trailer or all the poplars, because they know what those are, and then everything else gets chewed up into mulch or to something else, pulpwood. So I'd hate to see that, but that's what they do. I mean, because this crew, when I went back there and talked to them, I said, do y'all take every tree? Is every tree valuable? You know, would you sell me all the maples, or would you sell me, you know, if I find walnuts, would you sell those to me? He goes, oh, we don't. And I asked him, I said, do you know what this tree is? I walked in, they said, oh, we don't. This is, you know, I know it's not a poplar and I know it's not an oak. And I'm like, you're kidding me, right? You're cutting all these trees down, and you don't even know what these are. And it actually shocked me that loggers did not know trees like hickory, maple. I mean, I'm sure they knew what a maple was, but they didn't care. You know, it just didn't make any sense to me, you know, because there's a lot of value in a nice maple tree and some of these other trees, and they're just ripping them down, throw them in the pulpwood. So that's a shame to see. I hate that. But so when we have this place logged here, there's areas that they're going to come in, and if there's like maple trees or stuff that I know they're going to hit, we'll take them and cut them up. Plus, they grow like weeds, you know, silver maple and stuff like that. We have some hard maple here, but it grows up almost like hollies and stuff. So, you know, we don't want to have them just broke off and wasted. You know, we'll go ahead and cut the logs out of them and leave the tops there, and then they can come in and get their stuff. So, yeah. So, anyways, it's Monday morning. It's actually was in the 60s. We had storms yesterday. Not too many branches down. Wasn't a whole lot of wind with it, but it was a lot of rain, which is good because we need the rain. It's been really dry and hot. Hot. I mean, like hundreds. In the freaking hundreds. It wasn't even July or August. And we usually don't normally get that till mid-July through August, something like that. So I'm happy about that. So I hopefully will have a couple sponsors who are going to help me with my health, and I'm going to get my weight down some, and hopefully you'll notice a difference in my pep and step, and my attitude will get better, you know, because I'll be a little more cheery and chippery. So if that's a word, chippery, I'll be more chippery. Okay, I'll go for it. It's what it is. So there's the lineup. I hope you appreciate the video. Probably going to skip next Monday. It's hard to do every single Monday and have, you know, something kind of to talk about. So I'm going to start doing every other Monday morning, and then I considered about weekends, but there's a lot of other channels that do their stuff on the weekends, and they watch this channel as well. So they're already set up. So I just don't want to, you know, interfere with that and expect people to try to split their time between the different channels. So I'll keep it to Monday mornings around 9, 10 o'clock-ish or something like that. And then, you know, if you can't watch it at that time, you can go back later and watch it, you know. Everything that I do as far as the blogs and stuff, if you're watching it and say you didn't see the whole thing and you want to go back, you're going to have to wait a couple hours or so because I have it set to private. So when the show is over, it'll go to private. Then I go back in and double check it and make sure everything's okay. Sometimes I have to download it and then re-edit it. If I slip and say something wrong or the mic's not working, you know, something didn't come out right, it gives me a chance to go back and edit it and then re-release it again later. So if you don't see it immediately and you've caught the end of it and you want to go back and watch it, give me 2 or 3 hours, wait till this afternoon, and I'll turn it from private to public. So, but I hope you enjoy the steels. Mystery one is coming Wednesday. I'm not going to do an unboxing because there's a million unboxing on it. But the next time you'll see it, or the first time you'll see it, will be down in the woods actually using it. So I figured that's the best way to show you a new product. Just go use it. And probably won't use it on some big trees. You know, it's a little bit of a break-in period. You don't want to just take it in there and start romping on it, you know. Give it a little bit to break in, and then we'll put it to some good use. And hopefully my buddy will ask me to come over to cut that big oak tree up. That'll be interesting. That's a big tree. And hopefully I can get that walnut tree from him. He says it's a big walnut, but I ain't been over there yet. So hopefully I'll get that walnut tree from him, and maybe the oak tree from him. Who knows? Money, you know. Depends on what he wants. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, if you have any questions, please ask. That's partly why I do a lot of this. I'm doing this because I want you to ask. You know, it's interactive. And I want to try to answer your questions. Or if there's something that I said it's not right or you don't feel is right, and you have input on it and you think differently, say so. I mean, you know, there's sometimes, you know, everything I post on here, a lot of it is my opinion and my experience. You know, it can be semi-fact or consider it fact or not. So I want to hear your 2 cents, and I hope you guys have a blessed rest of the week. Looks like it's going to be fairly cool until later on in the week here in Virginia, and then more storms. So I'm not going to complain. We need the rain. We're way behind in the rain. So I hope you enjoyed the video. There's the lineup. You got steel and a mystery saw coming very shortly this week to the channel, and we'll see what it does.